This is your source for genre news, album reviews, and commentary on all things heavy. The Metal Pod. Here are your hosts, Brendan Flum and George Fong.
Hello and welcome back to the Metal Pod. My name is George. Brendan Flum here, my co-host. And this week we have a special guest, Evan, who is the audio production director at Impact. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah, man.
How you guys doing?
Evan, pretty good. I just want to tell the people listening to this that Evan is kind of the unofficial third member of our Metal Pod crew because he's the only other guy that you hear every episode with the vocal intro, and he did our theme music. So thank you very much for doing all that, sir, and welcome finally.
Thank you.
Yep, Evan made all the bumpers for us, and yeah, did a great job and killed it. And it's awesome. So we guess we can get into the shirt stories. I'll go first. As you can see, I'm wearing my Napalm shirt, who is a prog metal band from Australia, and they're pretty sweet. So,
yeah, got the violin metal in there.
Exactly, dude. I got this shirt when I saw them at the Majestic in Detroit. So they opened for Winter Sun. Have you heard of them?
I haven't actually.
Oh, okay. They're like a Scandinavian band, but yeah, so I'm in Detroit and I bought their shirt and yeah.
Very nice. I've got my I don't know if you can even see that. It's my Code Orange Forever era shirt from 2017. I got this shirt when I saw them open for Gojira at 20 Monroe Live in Grand Rapids. It was the first time I ever saw Code Orange. I'd barely heard of them. I was there for Gojira more so, and Code Orange opened, and like I said, never really heard of them, and they just blew my mind. So I was like, all right, this band is the future right here. So I got to get a shirt, and I've just been in love with them ever since. So
hell yeah.
How about you, Evan? What you got?
I'm wearing my Fuming Mouth sweatshirt. I got it when they opened for Jesus Peace in Harm's Way in Detroit at the Sanctuary back in 2018, I think.
Okay.
Sick show, stacked lineup. It's great. I love the band. They're sick.
Yeah, and Jesus Peace was they were supposed to open for Code Orange this year, I believe, with Year of the Knife and Machine Girl.
Yeah,
pretty disappointed about that, obviously. But
I know it was gonna be a sick tour. I know. I love those bands, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, hopefully it comes back next year or whenever we're able to have concerts again. So that's near the top of the list for sure.
Yep,
for sure.
All right, let's get into metal news. Brendan, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so not much since last time we talked. The biggest and really only thing worth mentioning, Alice in Chains was honored with a Founders Award, which is like a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Seattle Museum of Pop Culture, also known as Mopop. And that ceremony was broadcasted on Amazon, actually, and it featured tribute performances by, this is a long list, but it's worth reading, just like the amount of respect that Alice in Chains has in the music community. So the tribute performances included Fishbone, Korn, Mastodon, Metallica, Sammy Hagar, Tom Morello, and members of Foo Fighters, Guns N' Roses, Heart, Jane's Addiction, Mad Season, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Primus, Screaming Trees, Slipknot, Smashing Pumpkins, and Soundgarden. Robert Downey Jr. also made an appearance.
Let's go.
No shit.
Yeah, I don't really know why, but it's pretty dope. And Lily Cornell Silver, who is Chris Cornell's daughter, also made her musical debut there. So
wow,
pretty sweet. Yeah.
Cool.
Give Alice their respect. They deserve it.
Absolutely.
You guys big Alice in Chains fans?
Huge Alice in Chains fan.
Same.
Awesome. Good to hear.
One of my favorite bands.
Yeah,
definitely.
Of all time, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Better than Nirvana.
Yeah, we're gonna have a whole grunge episode where, I mean, I think better is an interesting use of word, but
Better than Nirvana.
They're definitely the two best grunge bands. So
Are you gonna do the hot take again where you say that Nirvana's better because you know that they're not in your heart of hearts?
in my metal heart of hearts, I can't say that they're better, but
Alice in Chains, man, they're definitely the top.
All right, I love it, Evan. I love that you're very pure about this. And if you don't know, Nirvana was like probably my favorite band as like a teenager. And then that kind of got me more into the heavy stuff from there. So,
Right.
I mean, you can probably see it, Kurt, right here on my wall back there. I love them a lot. Obviously, but yeah, Alice in Chains probably.
Well, that was off topic, but it's kind of topical. Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
What's the better unplugged, Nirvana or Alice in Chains?
Those are literally my two favorite unplugs of all time.
That is such a good question.
It's such a good question.
Probably Nirvana, right?
Dude, it's tough. I mean,
Alice in Chains Unplugged is good too, though.
It's so good. Their fucking set list was so sick.
Yeah.
And I will say I like watching the Alice in Chains version better because it's a lot darker and more eerie than Nirvana. But if I just, man, even just listening to it just with sound, I might have to go with Alice in Chains. That's really tough though. Put me on the spot already, man. Damn it. So, I mean, that's all I got for metal news. So,
all right, sweet. So I'll let Brendan take over with the topics, which we'll be pretty much interviewing Evan about. So yeah, go ahead.
All right, Evan, I'm gonna put you on the spot now. First question is kind of a hardball. Pantera or Lamb of God?
You know what? Ooh. I'm really not a big fan of either of them, to be honest. They're just those bands I've never really got into.
Okay.
But ooh,
Lamb of God is more punk. So
yeah,
let the man answer, George.
I would not. No, I'd probably say Lamb of God.
Let's go, Brendan. Eat your words. 2 guests in a row. Lamb of God over Pantera. Go kick rocks.
You just influenced his answer, bro.
I was gonna say it anyways.
Okay, all right.
You just heard him. You heard him. Lamb of God
solely based on the tribute performance for Suicide Silence.
Yeah,
his performance. Ooh, so good. He's an insane vocalist.
Yeah.
You know what? That's very fair. Mitch Lucker was a great vocalist. The new guy's pretty good too. But yeah, the only reason Trent said Lamb of God is because he's your roommate, so he's gonna side with you, George. So.
I mean, your roommates will probably side with you. So not
you
my fault.
Also sided with me when you texted me saying that Pantera was better.
I need to see some evidence here. I don't believe you. I need
Randy's a pretty good vocalist.
No, and Evan, just a disclaimer. I don't know if you watched our Pantera versus Lamb of God episode, but it's very neck and neck. Like I love them both. Lamb of God is an all-time favorite artist for me. Pantera is my favorite band of all time. So
really,
I got to pick them. You know what I mean?
They got some bangers for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
They also have some not bangers.
That's fair.
All right, we're not going to get into it because we do this every fucking episode. So let's just move on. All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Evan. Evan, how did you get into metal?
All right. Probably the same sort of story for everybody. Back in elementary school, I was playing like Guitar Hero and Rock Band. So there's all those like new metal and butt rock bands, like Breaking Benjamin, Linkin Park, Slipknot. Those are definitely everyone's gateway bands into metal. So yeah, I was a big Limp Bizkit fan. I liked Korn, all the classics. And then around middle school, what?
I just said hell yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then around middle school, I got into some scene metalcore bands, like A Day to Remember. I remember an older friend of mine showed me A Day to Remember for the first time, and that was my first metalcore band. I was like, ooh, this shit slaps. And then I liked Motionless in White, all those metalcore bands that are just ooh, kind of cringe, but they're also my guilty pleasures. Can't knock them.
Very understandable.
But then in like high school, I got into like hardcore and stuff. So I like heard bands like, like Knocked Loose, Code Orange, all that classic stuff. That's getting pretty big right now. But back in the day, it was pretty small.
Yeah, absolutely. They're kind of blowing up this year.
Mhm.
And I love to see that. That's part of my one hot minute, so I won't get too into there right now. But yeah, like you said, it's kind of a similar story with everyone.
Yeah.
Mine was also pretty similar. George's kind of was too with those gateway bands, of course. So
Yeah.
Evan, what do you like about metal?
Ooh, there's so much to like about it, and what's not to like about it?
That's what I said, man.
There's great instrumentation. I mean, you got riffs on riffs on riffs. There's sick drum parts. The vocals are sick. There's so many different styles too, which is cool. Lyrics are usually, either way over the top and kind of funny, but like they're also sick, or they're like super relatable, super emotional. So that's really cool. And concerts, man, who doesn't like going to a metal show? They're so sick.
Best concerts.
Exactly. Yeah, that was my next question for you. What is the best concert you have ever seen?
I've seen. I don't know, man. Probably
tough, right?
the first. Yeah, it's really tough. The first one that probably comes to mind would be like when I saw Code Orange headliner in 2018. I think it was them.
Shelter?
Yep, at the Shelter. Yeah, like them, Twitching Tongues, Vane, and then some really off-color artists that like did not fit the bill at all. And everyone was kind of like, I don't remember who it was though.
Yeah, it was Nicole Dollinger or however.
Dude,
Yeah.
she's awesome though. I'm a big Nicole. She definitely like
Really?
but she's not a metal artist, so there's no reason for her to be on that lineup.
Yeah, I mean it was cool, but like it was definitely just like not the vibe, and like also because we had like you had like 3 bands ahead of her play, and then she played like right before Code Orange, and everyone was just kind of like not like paying attention.
Dude, she is metal as fuck though, no matter what. Even though she doesn't make metal, she is dope.
No, but yeah, seeing Code Orange there, man, it was literally probably the sickest thing I've ever seen. Like, so I've been to some pretty insane concerts, but like their stage presence is insane. Like the bassist and the
bass player.
Yeah, the bass player literally kept grabbing me by the shirt and like pulling me up on the stage, and I was just getting yanked up like multiple times. I was just stage diving. It was so much fun.
Oh, dude, that sounds fucking awesome.
It was insane.
Stage diving is have you ever stage dove before, Brennan?
No, I've not.
Have you ever crowd surfed?
I've done that like twice maybe, but not like dive off the stage.
Stage diving is where it's at.
Stage diving and crowd surfing has to be like a top 10 like life experience at a metal show. It's like a top 10 life experience because you don't do it often, but you just tap the guy next to your shoulder and you're like, yeah, bring me up, and then you just get carried.
Or if you're at a show like the Shelter, like the Sanctuary, you just like go up on the stage and just fucking just eat off. So much fun.
That's kind of the beauty of a metal show. Like when you can just ask a random guy standing right next to you, like, "Hey, can you help me like fulfill this lifelong dream I have?" And then
Yeah,
go and do it. So it's sweet. That's the metal difference right there. But that Shelter show, George, have you seen any shows at the Shelter before?
I don't think so. I haven't. No.
It fits like, what would you say, Evan? Like 100 people, maybe? Like
it's definitely like a 500 cap room, maybe.
Okay.
But something. Like in like the like front dance floor area, it's only like 200 people max. But and this is a hot take here. I do not like that venue.
Yeah, it's for those who don't know, it's in the basement of St. Andrews Hall, which is a bigger size.
It's cool,
hall.
But like the security, man, they just kind of suck.
Yeah, they do. That is very true.
Like there's multiple times I've been to a show there where like there'll be like a couple security guards just standing in the middle of the pit and then like just knocking dudes out for like because they're moshing or something. It's like, dude, we're at a fucking show. Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point of us being there. Like,
yeah, they started like manhandling kids and throwing them out of the pit. It's like, what are you doing, man?
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's aggressive. And Evan, you know that like bench that's kind of to the left?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, for that Code Orange show, I was just standing on that the whole time because I like watching. As George knows, I have a bad back issues that kind of restrict my moshing abilities, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Anyway, I like watching it because like you're right there too, so it's sweet. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this has a dangerous feeling to it, and that's awesome.
You know what's crazy though is me and my two friends were standing on that bench too, so I probably fucking saw you, which is nuts.
Yeah,
We were probably standing right next to each other. I just didn't even know.
yeah, exactly. And that's me and George. Like we've only known each other since last summer when we studied abroad together. But in talking to each other, we found out that we've been to very many of the same concerts together
That's
without
crazy.
Yeah.
knowing each other. So like
Like,
we're all
weird-
connected.
Oddly, like odd coincidences. It's just like whoa, you been to that show? Yeah, like it's awesome.
That's nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say about the shelter though, it's like you said, it's not my favorite, but it's probably the coolest in that sense that it's like, I mean, you're literally underground. So it feels
Yeah, I do like that sense. And I like how the stage is set up. It's got like there's a stage and it also has like a built-in riser right in front of it.
Yeah.
So it's great for stage diving. You know, you can just run across it and then just jump off.
Exactly. And that is probably the loudest concert experience I've had. Like I had a headache for like days after. That's how loud.
So loud.
Yeah.
And Vane's set was even crazier because that was the first time I ever saw them. That was right when their like new album came out.
Yep.
Insane.
Yeah. Yeah. It was fantastic, of course. That was the kind of answer I was hoping for when I asked you that question. So
Fuck yeah.
I guess, hell yeah, man. I guess the next logical one to ask you though is, who are your favorite metal artists?
All right, so I got a list right here. So I'll start with like one of like just probably like an overall classic of mine. I like Every Time I Die a lot. There's definitely a sound for like everyone there. They've been around since like 1998, and they're still putting new music out, and they're still touring. Like they play the Shelter every now and then too. So it's like they're playing small shows, and they're just as fucking crazy as they have always been. And there's definitely something for everyone there. Like they've gone through like so many different like sound changes. There's like the early stuff is like super like 2000s metalcore. They've gone through like kind of like a punk southern rock vibe for a couple albums, and then now they're on like straight hardcore and punk, and it's just like everything's so good.
Yeah, 100%. And sorry to interrupt you real quick, but I remember they opened for, was it Fallout Boy and someone else? Like
I remember that. I almost went to that show because I remember it being super off color, like for no reason. Like I don't know who threw them on the show.
Right. I was like, I'm not a big Fall Out Boy fan, but like I saw Every Time I Die was opening, so I was like, oh, I might think about this, but I didn't pull the trigger. But still.
Neither did I. Yeah, the tickets were too much. I was like, I don't want to just go for a gag just to see them kind of playing to a bunch of like 12-year-old girls. But like,
oh no, that's funny.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you though.
No, you're good. You're good. My second artist is just like one I've been digging for a while, Sanction. They play super heavy metalcore. It's definitely like a throwback sound to like early 2000s. And I've seen them probably the most, honestly, even though they're a fairly new band. I've seen them, I think, 7 times.
Damn.
And they're just stupid heavy live. Like, I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
And it's just so hard not to mosh. Like I get there and I'm just like, ooh, gotta throw down,
Exactly.
They're so good. They only have I think 2 albums out, and a couple EPs, and they're chef's kiss, man. It's good. Next band, one I've been digging kind of recently is Creeping Death. They're super sick. It's kind of like part of like the it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like a new wave of old school death metal. It's like what people are calling it, and it's definitely like a throwback sound to like bands like Obituary and Cannibal Corpse and stuff like that, but they're all like rooted in hardcore, and so they're all playing like hardcore shows. It's super sick, and they just got riffs. I mean, the riffs and the breakdowns are just so sick. And the dude, like the vocalist, he's kind of this like overweight, got a beer belly. He goes up on stage in like black like skinny jeans, takes his shirt off, he's just hairy, and he wears like a spiked gauntlet. I'm like, dude, what are you doing, my guy? But it's so hard, so sick.
That's funny.
Next band I've been digging pretty recently as of this summer is Cast in Blood. They're kind of playing a different sort of like metalcore sound. It's kind of like you guys ever heard of bands like 18 Visions or like It Dies Today or any of those like 2000s like California metalcore bands? It's got like it's kind of an interesting throwback sound. It's like super heavy like chugs and riffs, but then there's like clean sung choruses. Super cool though. Definitely recommend them. And then all-time favorite has to be Deftones. Just a classic band. I've seen them only once, surprisingly.
Me too.
Man, there's so much to listen there, and it's like probably if I had to listen to one band, for the rest of my life and not hear anything else, it's probably Deftones, because there's just so much to like dig in, get something new out of every album every time you listen to it.
Yeah, that is very true. They've got, and like you were saying about Every Time I Die, they kind of changed their sound a lot. Obviously their early stuff is super heavy, and then they've kind of moved into more like shoegaze, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you listened to Ohms, their new album, which was kind of, yeah. What'd you think?
I've only listened to it a couple of times, to be honest, but like both times I listened to it, I just didn't really like. I don't know. Nothing really grabbed me.
I gotcha. Yeah.
It was okay, but which I think is kind of like the consensus everyone's like saying.
Right.
I don't know.
What
do you think?
I liked it better than I thought I would, so I think that's why I like, because I think Diamond Eyes was probably their last one that I was like in love with. So
yeah,
and it's probably their best since that, unless you beg to differ. I mean, that's just how I heard it, but I mean,
yeah. I liked Gore a lot, surprisingly. I know it's kind of a hot take, but there are a couple songs in there, like the one with Jerry Cantrell is so good.
Yeah, Geometric Headdress, is that what it was called?
That's another one. I don't know if it's that one though.
But I mean,
I haven't listened to the album in a while.
Yeah, the title track Gore is heavy as hell. Doomed User, that's heavy as hell.
It's a good one.
So yeah, like I like all their albums, just some better than others, obviously.
Definitely. So. What's your favorite one?
It's tough because I think White Pony's probably the one that got me into them, and that's like, because I remember like I needed a hat, and I was like, I'm really into Deftones, and I was like, let's just see what that, like I went through every band I like to try to find a hat. Deftones just had the White Pony on a hat, and I was like, that's perfect. Like it's pretty minimalist and all that, and yeah. So then I got like rediscovered White Pony, but if I have to pick just one favorite, I think it's got to be Around the Fur, just for heaviness sake. So
look, yeah, that's mine. It's so sick.
Good. Yeah, it's like White Pony's like the perfect mix of heavy and not mainstream or pop, but more commercial. I guess is the way to put it. Whereas Around the Fur is just heaviness.
It's so good. So,
yeah. What was you said you saw him one time. What was the one time you saw him?
Back in 2016, I think it was. They toured with Refused.
Rise Against? Oh, okay.
It was a tour before that one, because I almost went to that one, but I think I had other commitments or something. But yeah, it was cool. Refused is, it's not my favorite. They're cool.
Right.
But they were sick though, Deftones. I wish I got in the pit, but couldn't afford those tickets at the time.
It's like that sometimes.
Of course, we know how that goes. The one only time that I saw them as well was on the Diamond Eyes tour. So that's how long ago that was. It was Mastodon opening for Deftones, opening for Alice in Chains.
Damn, oh my God, that sounds awesome.
That's stacked.
It was very stacked, and one of the reasons I love Deftones so much is because like seeing them so young at that age, it's like burned in my memory. They had a disco ball on stage with them, and it was like at sunset, so it was just absolutely beautiful. And their sound went out like completely, but they kept going, and like just watching them keep going without sound was just nuts, because Chino was screaming his ass off, and the drummer was just still going ham. It was insane. So like I just mad props to them for doing that.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was sick.
That's cool.
Yeah. Unless you got anything more about Deftones, I'm gonna move on.
Yeah, you move on.
we always go on these little artist tangents, but I love it.
Yeah.
Next question though, what are your favorite metal subgenres?
Ooh, I mean, obviously metalcore. There's just so much there to listen to. There's like different sounds, different eras. It's, I don't know. I love breakdowns. I mean, who doesn't love a good breakdown? You know. There's just a lot there you can really listen to. It's definitely something for everyone. Whether it's like the poppier stuff, from like 2010, like the Warped Tour era, or you like just riffs, like bands like Killswitch Engage or something. There's just a bunch of stuff there. Also like deathcore. Who doesn't like deathcore? It's death metal with breakdowns. I don't like modern deathcore. That might be a hot take, but
Really? Huh.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me. I don't know.
What do you define as modern deathcore?
I don't know, bands like that kind of just like, instead of going for like, like the Suicide Silence, like kind of just straight, death metal with hardcore. It's the more like genty stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not my cup of tea, but I mean, it's cool. I do like, some death metal. I like a lot of modern death metal, like Fuming Mouth, Creeping Death, like those kind of bands. Let's see, new metal. I mean, who doesn't like new metal? It's so sick. You're lying if you don't like it.
Exactly.
What else? I like a little bit of thrash. Not like super into thrash, but it's cool. Definitely can respect it. I feel like I'm missing something here. Maybe that's it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you covered a lot, and I guess the first thing I have in response to that, with new metal, like you're lying if you don't like it. I mean, that is the new metal mantra. I feel like you are lying if you don't like it. Me and George have had this
everyone loves those songs. I mean,
yeah,
there's just like commercially successful like hits, like there's like a bunch of Limp Bizkit songs, but there's also like a bunch of like a lot of hidden gems. Like Limp Bizkit's first album is so good.
It is.
Korn's sick. I mean, Korn's been around forever, and they keep putting out great stuff. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's so sick. And Slipknot, I mean, obviously, they're just putting out banger after banger, and they're still going at it like just as strong.
Exactly. And me and George have had that conversation about like purists and elitists in the metal community hate new metal because for whatever reasons, but like it's probably like the heaviest and also like kind of the most.
I wouldn't say that.
let me finish. Like it's the heaviest and most like accessible at the same time. Like like Korn is a prime example. Like super popular, obviously. Like you'll hear Korn on the radio, but they're like still heavy as hell.
Yeah.
A lot of elitists don't like metalcore or deathcore either. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because like I think there's like a weird like grace period where like 10 years from like where they're saying like, oh, this is the new sound, it's bad, all the gatekeepers will be like, nah, this ain't it, and then like 10 years down the road, they'll start being nicer to it. And, like, I mean, look at Slipknot, like they're a prime example of that. Like all the critics love them, they're always charting, and they were just one of those new metal bands, back in the day, and everyone was like, oh, they're wearing masks, it's really gimmicky, but like they're probably the biggest band in the world right now. Exactly. So I think metalcore is like coming around to that. Like I know The Devil Wears Prada, and I was never really a big fan of that band, but they're definitely like one of those like metal sucks like reviewed like darling childs right now. I think like they're doing a lot of artsy stuff, and they're definitely kind of lessening up on the hate for those kind of bands. So I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, I'll say too, it's that, and I'd say the fan base too is probably a factor. Like
definitely.
That's a part of the reason why people, I feel like, don't like certain subgenres. Just the fan base and like, I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah, but like you said about metalcore, like there's something for everybody. And me and George have talked about this, about how like there's some metalcore that I just can't stand because like it's so like whiny and for lack of a better term. But then there's like it's a very big umbrella word, metalcore. Like like for example, like the Amity Affliction or a band like that, a Warped Tour kind of band like that, or pop punk inspired, whatever you want to call it. And then there's bands like Code Orange, which is like they're one of the heavier ones right now. So like like you said, there's something for everybody.
Absolutely.
Speaking of Warped Tour, though, I just was curious. Have you ever been to one?
I've been to two. I've been to the last two, 2017 and 2018.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was it was fun. I kind of miss it. It's just cool. Like there's no other concert like it where you can just like, first of all, be there all day, but then also see such a wide range of bands.
Yep.
And then like, I mean, you would go from like seeing something like the Acacia Strain to then seeing like an emo band like Movements, and it's just so sick, and everyone's there to have a good time. And then you also get exposed to so many other bands you probably wouldn't listen to.
Right.
And I mean, it's just so fun. I do kind of miss it. I mean, there's definitely like aspects that we shouldn't talk about. It's parts of it that should not come back. But if it were to come back, I mean, I would probably go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I went to the last one. That was the only one that I've been to. But yeah, it was a great time. And the reason I went, I was like, okay, it's never, maybe never. It's never gonna come back. So I might as well see it now. Blah blah blah. They said that it's gonna be like a one-off thing every year where they just do like a couple shows or something in California, maybe.
Yeah.
In the future, like this lack of concerts right now is going to make people hungry for them again. So hopefully it could come back. But
I heard that Franz from Attila.
I know Attila well, but I don't know like any band members.
The dude, he's like the lead singer. He's like a millionaire or something. He's like, I don't know. He's insane. But apparently he is gonna buy it from the owner.
What?
That's the word. I don't know. He you guys ever watch like No Jumper?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
He did a No Jumper interview and he said it on there.
Oh no way! I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
I guess I gotta ask you though, what was the best band you saw at the last Warped Tour?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm trying to think who even played.
I don't know if you are a fan or if you remember this, but they originally weren't on the bill. But when I got there with my buddy, we checked the like lineup list, and like Falling in Reverse made like a surprise appearance because like they weren't supposed to be on the bill, and then they were like the opening show. So
damn, really?
If you checked that,
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I'm trying to think.
Chelsea Grin.
Yep, saw Chelsea Grin. That was cool.
Yeah. That was the most hostile crowd I've ever been in. Like,
it was definitely a Warped Tour crowd. Which is
what does that mean? What is the definition of a Warped Tour crowd?
I don't know. It's
I've never been. Huh?
I hate to use the word like normie, but like they're definitely just people that like. I mean, it's just the cool thing about Warped Tour is that, people get exposed to different kind of sounds they wouldn't normally be. So there's a lot of people that like we're probably just walking around and they were just stopping to catch the set. But yeah, it was a big crowd, which is cool. But there are definitely some like those kind of people. Like I don't know. Well, yeah, a lot of douchebags. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm only asking because I've never been, and I didn't even know about Warped Tour until like very recently. Not very recently, but like more recently. So when I figured out what a Warped Tour was, it was like, oh, this is gonna be the last one. We're never doing it again. So I was like, oh, whatever. Like, it didn't really cross my mind that much. But now, like hearing you guys talk about it, like I wish I would have gone just to experience it because, yeah, it's not my type of my interest in metal as much. But it would have been cool, like you said, to like get exposed to new bands, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the first time I went, like War played, which was sick.
Oh wow.
I know, which I was like surprised. So yeah, they were. I didn't want to go in and get wet just because it was like a long day. I didn't feel like being covered in blood and cum. So I was just like, I'll watch in the back, but it was sick though. I mean,
that's funny.
That's the bucket list band for sure. I've yet to see them, but I think everyone needs.
It's definitely cool to see them once.
Yeah. You said, were they at the last one or did you see them like another time?
They're at not the last one, but the one before that, like 2017.
Okay.
They played right before Hatebreed, so I was like, oh, okay, might as well stick around.
Wow. Oh yeah, absolutely. Did you listen to Hatebreed's new album by chance?
I haven't. Is it any good?
It's your typical half-hour Hatebreed, just classic. You get what you pay for with Hatebreed. You never gave me a straight answer though. So who was the best artist you saw the last Warped Tour?
Oh, probably Every Time I Die, just because they fucking played it so many times, and it's cool to see them play like the last one.
Yeah,
I think they played it like 9 or 10 times. So that was cool. Harm's Way was sick. I've only ever seen them like in like a small venue. Since to see them on a big stage is kind of cool. And that dude, the vocalist is just a monster. He's fucking just a beefcake. I mean, dude, he's just ripped.
Yeah, I didn't catch their performance at the last one, but I've seen them elsewhere. So and only once, so I barely remember. But they're one of my favorite, more hardcore ones to listen to.
Yeah, they're sick.
Yeah, I guess that's a nice segue into the main topic at hand, which is our top 5 metalcore and hardcore artists. So, Evan, who are yours?
Ooh, top 5 metalcore and hardcore artists. Well, current favorite, I throw Never Ending Game. Gotta support the hometown. They're a Detroit hardcore band.
Okay.
And they're just playing a classic, heavy beatdown style hardcore. It's a lot of chugs. There's also some sick guitar solos and riffs on top of it. They're so sick. Trying to think who else. I'll throw Sanction back in there. Just love them. They're so cool. I'll throw Fuming Mouth in there, even though they're death metal, but they were signed to Triple B, which is a hardcore label. They recently just got signed to Nuclear Blast,
nice.
But they just play with a bunch of hardcore bands, and they're all about people throwing down hardcore dancing, and it's just so sick.
Yeah.
Trying to think here. I'll throw Acacia Strain in there.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna help you real quick because you obviously made a playlist for us. For that, it's gonna be in the description below for those listening to this. And it's absolute fire. So,
yeah,
yeah,
I'll throw Acacia Strain.
Yeah, George. Just real quick, Evan, George and I on the last episode of the pod, we talked about hair metal. So yeah.
He said not for me.
That's gonna be a no for me, dog.
Me as well. I'm not really.
Yeah, it's not for everyone, but it's a necessary part of the history book. And
definitely.
I just gotta say it was really nice going from listening to hair metal all last week, and then your playlist just brought me back to ground level. So that was
love
really,
to hear it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Acacia Strain, they got so many great records, and they still play small shows and still bring out instead of touring with the same bands they played with 10 years ago, they're bringing out new bands constantly, and it's just such a cool thing to see.
Yeah, that does sound really cool.
Have I given 3 or 4?
I think that was 4.
Okay.
5. I'll throw Harm's Way in, or not Harm's. I'll throw Harm's Way in there. They got a cool just industrial sound, and it's kind of like Code Orange in the sense that they throw a bunch of synthesizer and
right.
Industrial elements, but it's also just a different sound, which is really cool, and they're really fun to see live.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of, that's why I like Code Orange so much, because they're kind of a melting pot for so many different areas of music, like you said, they're throwing industrial electronic elements in there, which is again, going back to elitists and purists and whatnot, you think that would be a bad thing on paper, but then you hear it and it's this is the heaviest thing going on right now. So they're really pushing the envelope there, which we'd love to see.
Yep.
George, who are your top 5 metalcore / hardcore artists?
So my top 5 is they're all deathcore artists. So
okay.
And a lot of them overlap with tech death for some reason. A lot of tech death bands hang out with a lot of deathcore and metalcore hardcore bands. Have you guys noticed that?
Yeah.
So I guess my first one here is Annihilator. They're fucking awesome, and they have a cool name. Number 2, Thy Art Is Murder. Yeah, what can I say? I saw them at the Intersection, probably in 2017, I want to say, and which leads into my third band, which is Fallujah, who opened for them, and they're cool too. They're another kind of tech death, techie, prog death metal.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're pretty proggy, which is cool because you don't really see that a lot in the death metal scene. So
right. And then number 4, I've got Whitechapel. Who doesn't like Whitechapel? And they're a band that I actually like. I like them more live than I do listening to their albums. So I'll always go to a Whitechapel show. because they tear it up. And then my fifth one is Rings of Saturn, which is another kind of like fast tech, like crazy solos and all that stuff. So cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think Rings of Saturn is dope. Just a quick story. I took one of my buddies who he's been getting more into metal through me over the past few years, and the first really heavy metal show I took him to was it was like Suicide Silence and Attila, and Spite was there, who's they're not in my top 5, but they're definitely an honorable mention. They're kind of more underground, but they're heavy as hell. Anyways, Rings of Saturn was the first band that he saw, my buddy saw, and I was just looking at him the whole time because like just the look on his face was like, what the fuck is this? But like I could tell he loved it.
Yeah, dude. A lot of the times when I show people like the really fast stuff like that, they're just like, my brain can't comprehend this. It just sounds like sound effects. That's like what my friends will tell me. Yeah, they just like they don't sound like they're playing instruments, which is I think is always funny.
Yeah, and like whenever I listen to like electronic music or dubstep, like my uncle always gives me shit. Like that sounds like a bunch of power tools right now. And I mean, I get where he's coming from, but like,
yeah,
still sick. Evan, I think you could answer this better than me, and I always forget. But is Die Art is Murder? Is that the band where the lead singer went to jail for like putting a hit out on his wife or something?
No, that's
See, like I always forget
oh,
too.
it's slipping me. Shoot. Yeah, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Give me 1 second, and it's gonna kill me if I don't figure this out. Trying to think.
Yeah, sorry to put you on the spot, but
No. Yeah, that's an insane story though.
I know the guy's name, but I always
As I Lay Dying.
Yeah, okay, that's who it is.
You put a hit out on his wife? That's fucking
Yep.
metal, dude. No, I'm kidding. Don't. Murder is not condoned. Homicide is not condoned. You shouldn't hire a hitman if you're going to kill your wife. If it's a crime of passion, you should probably do it yourself. But again, we don't condone murder.
The best part of the story is that the band was like Christian too. They're part of like the Christian metalcore scene, and then so the guy was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna get a hitman to kill my wife."
That is so crazy, dude. But yeah, why'd you ask him the Thy Art question, asshole? They're on my list. The lead singer of Thy Art, CJ, actually was going to be the harsh vocalist for Ne Obliviscaris. He's Australian. So he was in the scene with Ne Obliviscaris. I think I've told you this many times.
Yeah.
And that we want you to be our harsh vocalist and tour with us. And he's like, I forgot what the exact quote was, but he was like, yeah, I can make more money from Thy Art, so I'm going to do that instead. But Ne Oblivis has surpassed Thy Art, in my opinion, in terms of not just their musicianship, but their popularity. So it's just a little fun fact there.
Yeah. I asked Evan because this is his subgenre, obviously.
Yeah,
so
I know. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, and I always get those two bands mixed up because they're both forward band names, and they're kind of similar. So I always get those two confused. So that's my bad. Sorry, Thy Art is Murder. I like you guys, of course. I get you confused with the band who has a murderer or attempted murder as their lead singer. So whatever. Moving on. My top 5 metalcore / hardcore artists. I included some grindcore and gore grind bands in mine because I like we talked about, metalcore is kind of it's a broader umbrella term. Mm-hmm. So I just would you, Evan, consider gore grind and grindcore part of the hardcore scene?
It depends. Definitely, you have the core part of it.
Right.
But it's definitely more bands there's bands that come from the more metal side, or they rather than the ones that come from the hardcore side. Right. But yeah, for the most part, I would I would just think if I could see them playing with a band I don't know, Code Orange or Sanction. If I could see them playing with one of those bands, fits
right.
under the umbrella.
I think Napalm Death is a band that's like that. It's probably more on the metal side, but they fit into the grindy kind of sound.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I could definitely see them touring with those bands you just mentioned. So it's
Yeah, and thank you for saying that because they're actually my number 5. So that's
nice.
pretty perfect. Yeah. So yeah, Napalm Death to number 5. And number 4, can't have Napalm Death without Carcass. They go kind of hand in hand. Carcass is like the king of gore grind, I would say. So had to throw them in there. Number 3, my favorite deathcore artist is Suicide Silence, for obvious reasons. Number 2, I've got Trivium actually. They're I wouldn't like consider them like straight up metalcore, obviously, but they're like
I hang out with those guys.
Kind of like, they're rooted in it.
Definitely.
Yeah. And they're kind of a band like Avenged Sevenfold or someone like that, where like their early stuff was like actually metalcore, and then they like progressed from there. So had to throw them on. And then number 1, of course, is Code Orange. My favorite like modern era band. So yeah, that's my top 5.
Nice.
Guess we can move on to pick of the week. Evan, what do you got?
Got the album "Don't Close Your Eyes" by Parkway Drive. It's a classic. I feel like it's just heavily underrated. I mean, it's just a quick departure from like what their current sound is, which is like big arena style, butt rock station metal. But like their older stuff is so good, and I feel like their first album is it's a banger back to back. Front to back, so many good songs, and they just got riffs on riffs on riffs. It's so sick.
Yeah, that's fair. For the people who don't know, and I mean, I think at an audio team meeting we had back before COVID started, we had like a whole butt rock session. So for the people who don't know what butt rock is, you want to explain that to them?
Yeah, the best way I would describe it is it's any of those like radio stations where you hear it's like anything but rock, so it's like the thing that butt rock comes from. So they only it's stuff like I don't know, like probably like I don't know, Breaking Benjamin's kind of pretty butt rock.
Wow, that makes so. I didn't know what that term meant, but now that you said that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I mean all those kind of bands like
You guys know Chevelle? Is it like that?
Chevelle's sick.
Yeah.
But definitely butt rock. But yeah, Chevelle, sick.
Yeah, like I remember. Who is?
My friend.
Okay, I thought you said you were. Evan, you said you like Chevelle?
I like their the first couple albums a lot. They're super sick though.
Fair enough. And I remember at that meeting that I just mentioned, there was lots of Papa Roach going on, so that's who I always think of. So and just to bring it back to the new metal real quick, like I feel like that's bands like that are like I like some Papa Roach songs, I'll admit it, but like there's bands like that are why people don't like new metal, because like you got, and I said this to George, like the really good new metal bands are awesome, of course, like Slipknot, Korn, etc., all the ones we already mentioned, but then you got like the ones who make it look like a scene or whatever, like Papa Roach. I mean, Limp Bizkit's later stuff is
poo-poo.
So
yep.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, George, what's your pick of the week?
So my pick of the week is a Fallujah album. I don't know how much you guys listen to them. Like I said, they're more of a proggy death metal, deathcore band, tech death, whatever you want to. That pretty much that category. And it's the Flesh Prevails album. It has sweet album art. All of their album art is like very, very. I don't know how I would describe it. Just like very artful and like cool. And yeah, it's good. It's not your typical like deathcore. There's like slow parts, and they also have a female vocalist on some songs. Clean vocals. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Sweet.
Yeah,
my pick of the week is it's a new album actually, and we actually talked about it on the pilot, but due to like a band member's illness or something, it didn't come out when we thought it was originally supposed to in like September, and it recently just got released like a couple weeks ago, and that is No Cover by Ellison, who as you know is Dave Ellison from Megadeth. That's his like solo project. They put out like a covers album of like old school metal and just like kind of revamped it with a bunch of really cool guest stars. So If anyone out there is looking for some old school metal that's like got a newer edge to it, it's a great listen. So yeah. Before we move on to trivia, Evan, I just wanted to say you said Parkway Drive, is that their first album?
Yep.
Okay. I know when we talked about this before, you said you like their earlier stuff more than their newer stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough. Because I know like they're another one of those bands who've kind of like been blowing up lately. So
yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's good to see stuff people from the metalcore scene like back in the day blowing up. It's just really cool, but not my cup of tea like the newer stuff. But
fair enough. And that was another canceled concert. It was supposed to be them and Hatebreed and
yeah,
someone else that was, I think, Knocked Loose. Yeah, Knocked Loose.
Mm-hmm.
And, Fit for a King, I think, was to round it out. So yet another concert we got to see when they come back. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Trivia though, Evan, I know yours is a little bit more different than how we usually do it here. So we're gonna let you go first.
Yeah. So couldn't really think of any like history trivia, so I figured let's just tell some funny stories. So
yeah.
First question, either you guys can answer it. Out of these injuries, what has not happened to me yet at a concert? Knock on wood. A, punched in my face, causing my nose to bleed. B, kicked in the side of my head, thus ripping off a mole. C, getting a black eye. Or D, a stage diver's feet landing on my head, splitting my forehead open.
Oh, Jesus, dude, those all sound terrible.
I'm gonna. Can I answer this one? I'll do this one.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna say punched in the face, leading to a bloody nose didn't happen, but everything else did.
And I think the.
Oh, incorrect.
All right, I was gonna say I think the one that I mean, I'm sorry if it did happen, but I don't think the splitting your head thing happened.
Incorrect. I have not gotten a black eye.
I don't think that's pretty uncommon. I think it's pretty uncommon to get a black eye at a concert because someone really just has to punch you right in the eye or like kick you right in the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been. Want me to go into the stories? I mean, I could tell them pretty fast.
Yeah, definitely tell us the story.
All right, so I got punched in my face, causing my nose to bleed when I saw Parkway Drive a few years ago. I don't remember who played. It was them headlining, and then some kind of like poopy, newer school metalcore band that's like kind of poop. Yeah. And then Stick to Your Guns, which is like a classic hardcore band, from like the Warped Tour, scene. And so, me and like two guys there were like hardcore dancing for Stick to Your Guns because everyone else was like push moshing and stuff. And then no one wanted to like push mosh. I was like, all right, sweet, I'll hardcore dance. And I literally took like 3 steps into the pit and some dude just fucking cold cocked me right in the face. And I was just like, what? And my nose was just bleeding. And I was like, all right. So I just stood on the side of the show the rest of the night. I'm disappointed, but I was like, all right.
Done for the night.
Yep.
What
I got kicked in the side of my.
I was gonna say, what kind of hardcore dance moves do you pull? Like what like do you do like the windmilly stuff or do you like
Yeah, so there's so whenever the quick hardcore dance tutorial, whenever the snares on 2 and 4, so it's like a do. That's called a 2-step, and that's when you're kind of like alternating like right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg, and you're kind of like running in place. You do that beat. Everything else is, kind of up to your own game. You could, do some swinging, you could do some windmills if you want. Just throw some kicks. I always throw some kicks,
Love it.
There's a whole bunch of options there. Yeah.
Dude, I think hardcore dancing is so great and so fun to watch.
It's so sick.
I love it.
I'd be lying to you if I say I don't, like bedroom mosh every now and then,
That's a common occurrence.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
They say no karate in the pit. It's only dancing, guys. We're not throwing chops at each other's necks. It's you have your space and you dance within that space.
Bro, all the shows I go to, I just get like beat up because I'll be stand on the side and people just come up and just right to my fucking like neck or something. God. Which leads me to my next point. Yeah, so I got kicked in the side of my head, ripping off a mole. At the show I got the sweatshirt at, it was like during Jesus Pieces set, and it's this tall person with long ass legs just like came up, like back kicked me right here, and I have a mole like back here, and just ripped it off.
What
and I didn't even know. My friends were like, "Dude, you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Like, "You're bleeding," and I was like, "Oh."
Jeez.
I don't think I've ever been to a
yeah.
show where people just like are like punching openly or kicking openly. These
That's,
I should go
every
to
show I go to.
I should start going to hardcore shows.
You should. They're fun. They're
That's
a
why
real good time.
They're called hardcore for a reason, right?
Yes, you're right.
Absolutely. And then the first like hardcore show I went to was actually my prom night. I skipped my prom and went to a concert. And it was seeing Every Time I Die over at the Loft in Lansing. And some dude just stage dove off this stage, front flipped, landed feet first right on my forehead, and just split it open.
Oh my god.
That's fucking brutal, dude.
The first like hardcore show I went to, and I was like, yeah, all right, this is about it. This is about right.
This is about what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, welcome to the scene, I guess.
Yep. All right, question. I'm going with question 2.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, this isn't injuries, but this is like witness or things I've witnessed or experienced. So one of these did not happen.
Okay.
A, taking my friend to the hospital because he got knocked the fuck out. B, the show stopping because someone flipped off the stage and hit their head on the stairs on the side of the stage. C, almost getting into a fight with someone selling lemonade. Or D, getting twerked on by another dude while hardcore dancing.
Brendan, I answered first last time. I'm going to let you take this one.
Yeah, I think those all happened except for the stairs one.
Trick question, they all happened.
Fuck you.
So one of the like freshman or sophomore year, went to a show with my buddy over in Saginaw. The venue's called Counterculture. It's not there anymore, I don't think. But yeah,
it is.
What's up?
It is still there. Knocked Loose was
really?
I think they were supposed to play there before COVID or something.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point. Yeah.
But yeah, so during sanction set, someone kicked my friend and he just got knocked out.
Dude,
and
sometimes people just die. Like when you see a guy getting carried out like by 2 paramedics, like, make a lane. You're like, that guy just got like.
Yeah,
killed.
I mean, it was a small room, and it was like I already didn't feel good being there. Like this room's really small, and there's like some big guys here. I was like, ooh, and so he got knocked out, and then we like took him back like outside of the venue because it's super small. And I was like asking him some questions. He seemed all right, and then I was asking him like where we were at. He was like, he thought we were in Detroit, and I was like, nope. All right.
How did he get knocked out? Like, well, how did he get hit?
Someone kicked him like a spin kick and just right to like the jaw.
Bro, you guys gotta stop doing karate in the pit. No more spin kicks.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, the show stopping because someone flipped off the stage and hit their head on the stairs. That happened a couple years ago at the Sanctuary. Someone just stage dove. There was no one there to catch him. I don't know why he jumped, but back of the head, right in the side of the stairs. Show stopped. He had to go get staples in his head.
Fuck.
Yeah, so I almost got into a fight with a person selling lemonade. So the last Warped Tour, it was a really weird story, actually. Like, because you know how like the Warped Tour crowd is. There's like the stage and like all the grass area. People are kind of standing in a circle around like a pit, right? The those guys like at like baseball games who are like selling like popcorn and like snow cones and stuff with those like boxes. There's a guy selling lemonade like that, and he was like walking through the middle of the pit, like selling watermelon, but people are moshing. So I was like making a joke. I was like, why is this guy like walking around like this? I turn around and all of a sudden this guy's just up in my grill, like ready to box me. And I was just like, my bad,
He was not. He's been grinding all day long trying to sell fucking lemonade to you degenerates, and that comment just sent him over the edge. He's like, man,
yeah,
I'm sick of these. I'm sick of these guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was not having it. And yeah, then getting twerked on by another dude while hardcore dancing. So it's actually a Nails show. Surprisingly, of all places, I don't know why it would happen there. Like it was stupid heavy the entire night, But a lot of the guys there were kind of like push moshing, and Nails is a hardcore band. I think the guys in the band would say that too. So like we were letting the push moshers do their thing, but then when Nails came out, we wanted to hardcore dance. Me and my friends, and so we're kind of like running the pit, and this group of like 3 guys, they were pretty big. I mean, they're all bigger than me and my friends, and one of them just came up and started like throwing his ass back like toward me, and I was just like, I kind of like backed away like that, and then looking back, I probably should have like hit the guy. I'm like, you fuck off, definitely probably the weirdest experience I've had at a concert. But yeah.
Fantazzle.
Mhm.
Yeah, that one's gonna be hard to top.
Yeah, that was weird.
Weirdest concert experience. That should be added to our questions, because that is a really
that's
good
tough.
question.
Yeah, there's so many stories, anyone can tell.
I mean, we've been going to concerts for years now, obviously. So like I've seen so many weird things that I just like block them out at this point and just like erase them from my memory. Like just move along, like
Yep, yeah,
all you
yeah.
can
It's like
do.
just all right. I'm gonna back up. All right. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Like, yeah. George, you wanna ask our guest your trivia question?
Yes, I will. So, Evan, you're a Parkway Drive fan. When they were formed in 2003, what did they base their name off of?
It's a street, right? Or they. Ooh, I don't. It's definitely a road, isn't it?
Is that your answer?
Or is it just they just threw it together and like it's either one of those. I don't know.
Which is it? One guess.
I'll say it's based off a road where they grew up.
Correct. The band took their name from the street where their home rehearsal space was, and they also turned it into a venue, quote unquote, and they called it the Parkway House. So, yeah.
Nice. I thought it was that, but I was like, also, they couldn't just threw it together and made it up. It's like a lot of those bands did.
Dude, I think you're the first person that's gotten a trivia question right in the past like episode or two.
Really?
Yeah, we our trivia questions have been killer. But yeah, so Brendan, my trivia for you, you're a big Code Orange fan. What was Code Orange's first band name when they formed initially? Oh, this boy.
Am I right?
Frozen. Did you hear me?
You froze.
Yeah, I did. I froze.
You froze, yeah.
Yeah. All right. It was Code Orange Kids, correct?
Yes, you got it.
Right.
Which is not as hardcore as Code Orange. So yeah, well, dude, I couldn't think of anything. Okay, similar to the hair bands episode, I don't know much about this subgenre as much as our other ones.
Right.
So I just that's mine. What do you got?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm not complaining. Thank you for the softball. I guess I'll go ahead and ask you. From last year's Ammo album, Bring Me the Horizon song Wonderful Life features which notorious metal vocalist?
Okay. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really listen to Bring Me the Horizon. I know one song from them. I'm gonna guess who hangs out with Bring Me the Horizon. I'm gonna guess Corey Taylor.
No, it's Any Filth from Cradle of Filth.
What an oddball question. See,
I know.
Go ahead.
I mean, you like black metal, Cradle of Filth.
I don't listen to either of these bands. There's no way I would have been able to answer that. I don't listen to Cradle of Filth or Bring Me the Horizon. There was no way I would have known that.
Bro, you like black metal, correct?
I do.
And you recommended a Bring Me the Horizon song.
Yeah, I like old black metal. Cradle of Filth is probably the softest black metal like band, like new black metal band. Like as soft as in like not like as far from black metal as you can get, but still be labeled black metal. TBH.
Evan, you have anything to say there?
You know what? I'm not the biggest black metal fan. I've tried so hard to get into it, and I have like some friends that are super into it. I don't know. It just hasn't clicked for me yet. So I don't know. Bring Me the Horizon sick though. No,
yeah, I was like that too until George kind of showed me the way. So
yeah, I'm a big black metal fan.
Nice.
Yeah. Evan, I guess I'll ask you your trivia question. What does the Code Orange mantra TOTH acronym stand for?
Thinners of the Herd.
This boy just went 2 for 2 on trivia, dude. Look at that.
Wild. So that's their thing, TOTH.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, it's on like all their, it's like their handle on Twitter. Like anytime they post something, they like sign it with TOTH.
Yep.
Yes, it's a song from I Am King, one of their albums.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they're the thinners of the herd, you know.
Absolutely.
They're it's pretty much them saying they're the shit right now, which they kind of are. So
Mhm.
yeah. But
Very cool.
yeah, Evan just went 2 for 2 on trivia. That never happen again in the history of this show. So I gotta give you props now while we're here. So
I appreciate it.
we'll move on to the, of course, we'll move on to the 1 hot minute though.
Can be anything.
Anything you want.
All right.
Yeah.
Wear a mask if you're watching. You know, wear your fucking mask outside. It's not fucking hard. It's you put it on your face. You're outside for maybe like 30 minutes at the grocery store. Suck it up. Put it on. I don't want to hear you fucking bitch about it. Also, we're still in a pandemic. Don't be going out and having parties with 20 people. I got some people across the hall having parties at their apartment. I'm like, nah. If you, we're all sick of it at this point, but if we all just, buckle down and, power through, we'll all be, we'll see the end of it. But, got some dumbasses, doing some bullshit, can't fucking wear their masks and stuff,
Oh,
That's my rant.
Yeah,
the frustration was felt there.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not hard. Keep everybody safe. We're all in this together.
Right. And I think it's fair to say that we both second that notion as well. We want concerts again, man. And the only way for that to happen is to just, follow the guidelines. Like, I know it sucks, but I want to go to a fucking concert,
I know. The unfortunate thing is too, like, concerts are going to be the last thing that comes back,
For sure.
After all this. So it's just like, bro, let's get our shit together.
Yeah. And the thing I always say when someone complains about wearing a mask is, bro, if Slipknot can wear a mask on stage for 3 hours night after night, you can wear a mask for not that long. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
We should make Slipknot masks, but they double as our face masks. So every time we leave the house, you just put on your fucked up Slipknot mask, and you're looking cool, and you're staying safe. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, they're actually selling those on their website right now. So,
really?
Yeah, if you're interested, you can check that out at their website. But yeah,
I wonder how, like, what quality they're like, because they can't be like the stage ones, right? Because those ones are like custom made.
No, they're just like the gator masks.
See, dude, I would just make one that was like really nice, and then that would be.
I know what you mean. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
George, what's your 1 hot minute?
My 1 hot minute is on harsh and clean vocals. I love harsh vocals. Harsh vocals love me back. I like really deep harsh vocals, so less of the like screaming kind of higher or upper register. I like really deep vocals. And I guess it's not really a rant. It's just kind of, I don't know. But I think part of the reason why I don't like some metalcore specifically as much is because of the mix of the harsh and the clean vocals. I don't know. It just sounds weird to me. The way that metal, not that I don't like those two vocal styles in a song, but the way that some metalcore bands do it, I don't know. It sounds odd to me that they're mixing it. Like Brendan said, some of those bands are kind of, I don't know what the word is. I would just say like emo, I guess, is the best, not the genre, but just like emotional, like really, really like whiny.
Pretty corny too.
Pretty corny. Yeah, like Evan said, like it's a guilty pleasure. Everyone has those guilty pleasures. That's not mine though. So yeah, that's it. Pick one of the other guys, harsh or clean, whichever one, but not both.
Harsh.
Clean. Oh.
with metalcore, it's got to be harsh. I feel like.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
But you see, to go off what you just said, there's bands where they have literally two singers, and that's their sole purpose. They're not playing any other instruments, which I think is kind of weird. Like, because you see a band like Code Orange, like not every member, but like at least 3 members sing, but they're all playing instruments too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I agree with George in the sense that the bands that just have 2 singers where they're doing nothing else kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah. Same. It's
so,
weird.
I mean,
or if you have one vocalist and he does the harsh and the clean, that's fine. But
yeah, that's cool.
Having 2 singers is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Unless you're Napalm Death and one of them is like a killer violinist and the other one is just
Right. Yeah, and like I said, he's playing an instrument, so it's cool. So yeah, mine's also in the metalcore hardcore realm. I feel like there's a stigma within the community like that frowns upon success and like wanting to remain underground, and if you do anything that becomes popular, you're a sellout. And I just think that's kind of stupid, because what's the point of forming a band if you're not looking for success, you know? I mean, a good analogy, I guess, is like Underneath by Code Orange. It's kind of got their new album's got some different, it's in a different direction than some of their old stuff, but it's still very Code Orangey, yet people are in the underground community are like, you guys sold out. But like, no, they didn't. Like, they're still heavy. And I don't know, it's just weird to me. Like, why do you not want success? I think that's a stigma that needs to be broken in the metal community. Yeah, that's all I had to say, Evan, unless you have something more to say on that. So
I mean, it's probably, I definitely agree. It's weird. It's definitely probably coming from the punk community. Like, I know that's always been a thing. Like, look at Green Day. Like, they're a prime example of that.
Yeah.
You know, they were like straight up DIY punk, but then as soon as they, released like Dookie and like all the, all their like commercial albums, they're like, oh, you just sold out. But like, what's more, punk than doing your own thing DIY, and then making yourself like, successful, that's so sick.
Yeah, I think that's a punk sentiment, I think, and there's a lot of that in like that bled into like black metal and stuff like that, and I think it's like what you said, it's like it's a reservation against being a poser, I guess, or like, that kind of deal.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely bands like, I don't know, like that definitely get in because they're posers and then like, get big because of it. Like, I mean, you look at nu metal. I mean, there's a lot of bands that were just like, straight up just wanted to be famous, but like Code Orange is a prime example of, they literally have grinded forever, and they have, they have the scars to show it, they've played a lot of shitty shows, to like, 20 people maybe, in their day, and they've been around forever. So everything they're getting, they more than deserve it.
100%.
What's the now I got to listen to Code Orange. What album should I listen to?
Ooh.
I would say Forever.
Probably Forever.
Yeah. That was their last new one before the new one that came out this year. My favorite albums by artists tend to be the ones that are like perfectly underground and mainstream at the same time. Like Forever was their first major label release on Roadrunner. I mean, all their albums are good. It's just that one. That's the one that I discovered Code Orange through. So
cool.
I tend to answer through that.
I'll check that out.
But that's a nice segue too, because their new album is my favorite album of the year. And our next episode, whenever George, you and I release that, probably around Christmas time over our winter break, I'm going to talk about that album a lot. But my song rec for this week is actually a song from Forever called Ugly. Yeah, it's on Forever. They put it on their Under the Skin acoustic live album this year. It's one of the more popular ones, but it's an anthem and it's popular for a reason.
It's a great song.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, George, what's your song rec?
My song rec is a Christmas song, and it is Wizards in Winter by the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yes, dude.
Yeah, and I knew you would like them. It's basically, for those who don't know, it's basically Christmas on metal. And pretty much rock, but metal fans will like it. So yeah, check it out. Drink some eggnog and put something in it when you listen to it.
Hell
Absolutely.
yeah.
Evan, how about you? What's your song rec?
Got kind of an underground one. It's by a band called Heavens Die. It's one I've been jamming a lot for the past couple of years. The song called The Harm of Love. It's definitely like pure deathcore. I mean, they wouldn't call themselves deathcore, but like they have like melodic death metal riffs, but with breakdowns. And there's not to going off what George says, they have some like cool like typo negative Peter Steele styled like clean vocals like sprinkled throughout, and it's like really done well. And it's really cool. Definitely a cool song, and a lot of their stuff's pretty cool too.
What's it called?
It's called The Harm of Love by Heavens Die.
Okay.
I think you included that in the playlist you made for us, right?
Yep.
Was it in there? Okay, I guess I must have missed that one. Well, yeah, I will check that out.
Yeah. Speaking of that playlist, though, that's going to be in the link below. Evan curated a playlist for us, so thank you very much for that. I've listened to it already because I was too excited not to. And it's
I listened to it too.
Hell yeah.
It's fantastic. So, Evan, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's been fun.
That was a hell of a time. Like I said, that playlist by Evan will be in the link description. The link to it will be in the description below. Sorry. Until you hear from George and I again, which will be over winter break at some point, we're thinking we're gonna release our next episode on Christmas. That episode is going to be like a year in review where we count down like our top 10 albums of the year, pretty much everything that happened in 2020. Until then, listen to Evan's playlist, tune in to the Hours of Power, which is on Impact 89 FM every Thursday night from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. George, anything else?
Just to reiterate what Brendan said, so no episode. We'll be taking a 1 week hiatus during the week of exams, and then we'll be back around Christmas time. Hopefully for that one, we'll be back on video. We're still remote because all of Impact 89 is not doing any video projects or anything like that because of the lockdown. So, we'll try to get back to you the content of the quality that you expect and that we want to release it at as soon as we can.
Oh yeah, thanks again, Evan.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's been fun.
Yeah, of course. Metal!
You are the best clean vocalist of all time.
You've been listening to The Metal Pod, a production of Impact 89 FM. Our thanks to Impact's General Manager Jeremy Whiting, Station Manager Amber Kienutsky, and Programming Director McKenna Lowndes. Tune in next time for more updates on all things metal. The Metal Pod!